It is the front page Saturday Town Hall edition. Does my vote even matter? A big shout out to our team here, Bobo, and of course Ariel, who helped get Yellow Pain on the air this morning. That was excellent. We are taking phone calls, 520-KJLH, 520-5554. Tim Cornegay, who will be out with me in front of Earl's on Monday for Meatless Monday, will be registering voters and hanging out. And there's a lot of April's Life in a Bottle Juices is helping us with that. The SCLC, the Brotherhood Crusade. It's a big old thing. So you can join us there. Outside, socially distant. Don't hug me. Wear your mask. I love you. Just make it a virtual hug. And then today at the Watts Labor Community Action Committee, Blackout the Ballot, who has been working with us on these voter reg events, is doing their market, and it's artisan market, food, music. They've got yoga. They have got a walk, run, and they have free COVID testing brought to you by CORE, which you'll get the results within 48 hours. They've got a mobile COVID testing thing right there. That's Walk Good LA and more. Okay, joining us now is Black Lives Matter organizer, Black Lives Matter LA, and the director of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, Brother Akili, or Baba Akili, as he is affectionately known. Good morning.
Good morning. And let me just acknowledge all the good work that you all are doing to first to engage people and engage voters, and then to educate them. So we really appreciate the work that you and KGLH is doing. That's a part of what needs to happen.
Thank you for that. We give it all up to Stevie Wonder, the owner of this station, who's been such a force for good for our people. Akili, people know you now as a Black Lives Matter LA organizer, and, you're at every protest. You have the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, but you've also worked a lot in the space of electoral politics, I guess you could say, like organizing, getting out votes, and so I want to start there, because you've been on both sides, on the protest side and on the policy side. Why is voting part of that equation? I mean, you certainly don't have any problem with a serious march, right?
Yep, or getting arrested and going to jail. I've also worked six presidential campaigns. I was the South LA director for Obama in 2008. And, so there is some value to voting. Over the years, I've had to make choices, make decisions. I know, and we say this a lot, we can't vote our way to freedom. We can't vote our way to liberation. But voting is an expression of people's interests, their understanding, and their position. And, when we vote, that is how we say this is what we are interested in, what we want to see, and what we want changed. But over the years, many years, many people have been led that, particularly black, brown, and working poor people have been led to believe that their vote don't count, their money don't count, and their voice don't count, so leave me alone. And the powerful interests in society appreciate that. So when there's a small voter turnout and very few people participate, then they create the kind of policy that they want that protects their particular interests. So voting at least gives you an opportunity to express your interest, to express your understanding, and to at least say, this is what I want to see. Now, part of the concern that many people have is that they haven't seen the change that they want. So we vote, and then a lot of stuff stays the same. A lot of policies stay the same. People have been in office for a long time. And so it's easy to think that, well, it doesn't make a difference. It does, particularly this year. But it does every year that it happens. And if it didn't, why would all the effort go into trying to make it more difficult for people to vote? As opposed, if voting was the way some people like to, patriotic and all the rest, but they also say in the next breath, yes, but you can't vote here, or show me your ID, or we only have one box for the whole county. Why then would you make it more difficult? I would think that is, voting is important. How do we make it more accessible? How do we make it easier? How do we make it more open to people? And so voting must matter because too many people are spending too much time, energy, and resources to try to keep us from doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I call them the ballot snatchers out there with these fake ballot boxes. Yeah. We got a bunch of people on the phones that want to talk to you, and you can join the conversation, 520-KJLH, 520-5554. AJ from Hollywood, you're on with Akili.
Yes, hi. I wasn't able to vote in 2016 because I had a stroke. So this time, when it came time to vote, I've already voted. My ballot is in the mail, but I'm really ignorant concerning the other people that you vote for other than the president. They're announcing about this person, right, the congressman, the senator. When do you vote and where do you go to vote?
Okay, that's a lot of good questions there. Yeah, how do you educate when and where do you vote, and how do you educate yourself about these local, especially the school boards, other than listening to Front Page? We're tackling a lot of this stuff. Akili, where do you start with that stuff?
Well, first, one of the things that I've observed over the years is that people tend to rely on other people they know, which may or may not be a good thing. So that's where many of us start. Secondly, your mailbox is probably full of information about candidates. There's an adage in political campaigns, particularly as it relates to mail, that you have to send out at least 7 pieces of mail if you want somebody to vote for, against, or for you and the rest. And so you're probably getting a lot of information on that. And then the other thing is you have a sample ballot. It came in the mail. It's 95, almost 100 pages, but there is information in that tells you about the candidates, that tells you about the initiatives, and it may actually mean that you have to read. It may mean that you have to pay some attention, and it may mean you have to make some decisions and choices for yourself.
Well, some people do use cheat sheets. I say use them, compare them.
Yes.
Black Lives Matter LA has one this year at blmla.org, and that's a first, right?
Yes, it is. Because this election was so important that we felt that we needed to, at least on critical issues, take a position as it relates to, the propositions. And so we have a ballot, a voter guide that we have, and you can go to our website, Black Lives Matter LA. You can go to our Instagram page and find our voter guide. And it starts with yes on 15 and 16.
Okay. Want to keep it moving on the phones. You mentioned, some people been in office for a long time. To me, that's only a problem if they're not doing their job. New is not always better, as we learned with Donald J. Trump. Just wanted to throw that in there. Big Phil from L.A., you're on with Akili.
Good morning. Creeked and Rise this morning. Good morning, Dominique. Keep up the good work, brother. I got my vote already, mail-in vote for one of my units I own. I got a vote stamp on the back of my phone. And let me tell you something. They had a nerve audacity call me from Joe Collins' office telling me, do I want to run? So first of all, how do you even get my number? And they're going to tell me what vaccine
I need the short version.
They can take that 100 pounds of food, try to feed black folks, get their vote, and take it down Skid Row and spread it out, okay? So I'm going to rest my case. Vaccine, go all the way. God bless you guys. This Big Phil from out.
It's a great point in terms of these ads, too. I mean, especially with the propositions, a lot of them are misleading. And just because you hear an ad, doesn't mean it's the truth. Just because you hear it in a certain place doesn't mean that's what the station's policy is. It's just a commercial. Any thoughts on those commercials, Akili? Or Maxine Waters, for that matter, Maxine Waters, Joe Collins race, if it is a race.
Yeah. Well, it's a classic example of the Republicans really wanting to, they know they can't win, quite frankly, because Congresswoman Waters has a solid position in the district and has, for 2 reasons. One, because he's a good constituent politician. That is, she serves her constituents, but also she is at the forefront of challenging the administration. So the administration finds anybody, quite frankly, that they can get to try to at least challenge her. They know they can't win, but they challenge her. And in this case, they found a very flawed candidate to do it. But they offered them a lot of money, and they want them to come in and to try to confuse and kind of, mislead people so that they think that will somehow weaken her. It won't. She's been in Congress long enough now to know the process and to know the game. And I think, if anything, it may strengthen her.
How do you sort out the truth from the BS on these like commercials about propositions and stuff? Because I feel like sometimes the commercials make it seem like you're voting for the exact opposite of what you're voting for.
And I think the classic example of that is Proposition 16, which would restore affirmative action, which would restore, opening up society and making sure that all of us can participate and benefit from a society that we help build. And so if you look at what some people are saying, it's on the other side. Or 16, 15. Part of is to confuse voters in the hopes that if you're confused, you won't do anything. It's like, well, I don't know. You'll feel insecure, and so you won't make a decision at all. And part of what you have to look for is who is funding this, who is supporting this, who is behind this. And if it's not a group that has had your interest that you know about, you probably can't trust them. There's an old saying, when cats leave out cheese, mice need to be suspicious. And so that's what's happening. The cats are leaving out the cheese. And so just look at who, and they have to, because it's public information, and they have to put disclaimers on who is behind this, who is funding this.
Absolutely. All right, I want to get to Gloria. Follow the money. I always say it, but you said it better. Yep. Gloria from Highland, good morning. Gloria, you with me? Gloria, talk to me. You're on the radio.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, this is Linda.
Okay, Linda. Well, you got through somehow,
yeah.
So short version, please.
Okay. What I want to say is we need to get Trump out because he's dismantled so much. But we really, really need to pay more attention and follow, and don't wait till the last minute, our local government. Because I watched the trial of Gabriel Ramirez, and I found out a lot about our superintendents. We got an outside company managing this place. And then we had $200,000.
Okay, you know what? I don't have time for a long version here. I agree with you, Gloria, but land for me, please.
Okay, just everybody get out to vote and start learning and pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Akili?
Thank you, Linda. I think you're right. She said just get out to vote. You mentioned earlier that BLM has a voter guide. We also are doing get out to vote phone calling and door knocking, because that's how important this election is. And that's why we believe that people's votes matter. Because many of these races are going to come down to 2 and 3 percentage points for whether they pass or not pass, whether certain people are elected or not. And so the more people who participate, the more people, that you can express your particular interest. And there are a lot of ways to do that. A lot of propositions out here that reflect your interest and understanding, like Measure J.
Yeah, which is a yes. I'm sure from you. I saw the BLMLA. I'm voting yes on it. Akili, the Trump administration feels that the black male vote is in play. And I'm hearing a lot of talk about people saying they're not planning to vote. I always say the unlikely voters could save the day this election. What do you say to those folks? I mean, especially when we look at this last presidential election, where some of these states went to Trump by thousands, not millions of votes.
And that's part of the reason why what BLM is doing and many other groups are doing is we're focusing on the newly registered and the first-time voters, because they generally don't get any attention. They generally don't get any effort at encouraging them to vote and at least helping them understand the process. So we're focusing on that, along with a number of other groups like LA Can, California Calls, and others who are focusing on the people who may not have, vote every time, who may only vote once in a while. And so we are focusing on those voters because it's that important, and because these races are going to come down to thousands of votes, maybe some even hundreds of votes, which really begins to underscore the value of voting and the value of your particular vote.
Yeah, I remember when Kamala Harris first ran for statewide office, Attorney General, was a very slim margin of victory there. Yeah. And now she is running for vice president. And South L.A., honestly, I think made the difference. I think if it wasn't for South L.A., she wouldn't be trying for the White House right now.
I agree. And I remember, our office was next to theirs. And so that small, you may not think it, but if more and more people actually do it, then that becomes the margin of victory for the candidates and the issues that we are concerned about and believe in. It's when you don't vote that gives the other side the opportunity to get their vote out. And historically, older white voters traditionally vote. And once again, we have been led to believe, well, it don't matter, or so what? Or, my vote don't really count. It does, particularly in close races.
Yeah, and you never know which is going to be a close race. Not a lot of time left here, Akili, but will a landslide help? Trump is talking about, and I know we got to focus on local issues, but Trump is talking about maybe not even conceding power. Would a landslide help?
It would. And one of the things I appreciate about Senator Bernie Sanders, he actually came out and made it public and went on television and is campaigning to say that a landslide, a major turnout, would send a message that it's time for you to go. That you had your 4 years, you messed up, go. He has been laying the groundwork for many months of suggesting that the irregularities or the problem may mean that there should be an investigation and it may not be legitimate. No. If people vote and they vote him out overwhelmingly, you can't argue those points.
Really well said. What would you leave us with just in 30 seconds?
Voting is important. Voting matters. Voting expresses your interest, what you think, what you're concerned about, and what you believe in. And that's why we encourage you. It's a simple process. It only takes a few minutes. You do have to understand, but once you do, cast your ballot.
Akili of BLMLA and the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, thank you.
Thank you.
LAvote.net to register. Monday's the deadline, although there's a lot of wiggle room. Family, we got to go. Thanks to Roland Bynum. Thank you, Guy Black, who is up next. I will see you all Monday morning on the front page. Have a great weekend. Until next time, one love.